Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Cooking with Dan Luzzi. My name is Janet Rapasardi-Hoff. I'll be your host this evening on another show with Dan.
Hey, Janet.
Dan.
Hey, Greg.
How are you?
Doing? Good, good.
After the holiday slump, but now we're in the Valentine's Day mode, right?
Right, the Valentine's Day mode.
Yeah.
Most fun night of the year.
Hey, listen, before we get to Valentine's Day, how's your golfing? Florida yet? I know you're...
Yes, we're leaving tomorrow morning, as a matter of fact.
Tomorrow.
Yes, me and the boys.
Oh, boy. I was waiting for
boys'
that.
excursion.
Yeah. You hadn't said anything about that, and I said, it's about time for Dan to get down to Florida.
Right, yeah. But a couple of these guys are calling it a week down there, and I'm there, please, it's a few days is the way I want to categorize this.
A few days.
Yes, it's not a week.
18 days.
Right, it's 18 days. No. But yeah, we're going down there a few days, going to whack it around a little bit. I'm psyched as heck.
Great.
Just coming off the old Christmas push here, so we're going to get out of town and trying to get a few things done before we leave, but it's going to be great. 36 holes a day, gallon of vodka, fall down, go to sleep, get up and do it again. Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
We're not going to gamble at all, so it shouldn't be any wrong.
Wow, I don't believe that.
couple little Nassaus. That's what we'll do. A couple little Nassaus.
Oh,
so what are we going to do
here?
I was going to make some marinara sauce.
Shrimp. Wow.
Some shrimp, yeah. We're going to get to that probably, right? If I don't start quacking too much here. But these, I'm going to put down the jarred sauces that, you get in a, certain people don't care to cook at all. I mean, my kids would like SpaghettiOs with ketchup on it, And then you get some people that like marinara sauce, but, just don't care to cook it all and eat it out. But some people, got a couple friends of mine, they're cooking at home.
Oh, yeah.
They want a little red sauce function. They're tired of macaroni and cheese or whatever the heck you make to accompany your chicken and fish and whatever you're eating at home. And I was going to make some marinara sauce here, and you could mimic this, and it freezes very well.
Oh, it does?
Put it in a couple plastic containers, take it out the night before and let it get to temperature. You bring it to a boil and you have it. But some of the sauces I've noticed that there's a couple hotshot restaurants that put a couple out, and they're very, very pricey, so it's maybe somebody coming over your house Friday or Saturday night and you buy it for that. But just to have you and your gang at home, whether it's you and your husband or you and your family, your choices are limited. If you're not making your own, you're either going to spend a ton of cash, and the other, or if you don't spend a ton of cash, to me, it's just forget it. I think it's terrible.
Even some of these specialty shops are doing that now.
Right.
The little, the sauces and that sort of thing for maybe two, and a little thing like that. They're quite. It's
some of them are tasty.
Much easier and less expensive to do it at home. Right.
Right. But you got to be the type that likes this sort of red sauce function, whether you put it on pasta or some pasta with cheese, the baked ziti type of thing, or chicken. You got to be the type of person that appreciates this sort of thing. The key to the mint, to me, is to get imported Italian tomatoes.
There you go.
You see these tomatoes that we have here, these plum tomatoes?
Great.
I mean, if you could see these with some of our own national brands, these are very supple. These are going to break down. They look like, forget about it, you're going to have to cook them all day, but they're very soft and supple. You can almost see them coming apart with this fork here. And they don't, at the end where the stem was, it's very, very tender. I understand a couple of these California companies are trying to go to some length to soften up these stems. I mean, it's a different type of climate, I guess.
Yes, it is.
And the tomatoes are a little more coarse, and I don't think they're as sweet as these, naturally sweet. So these are just tomatoes packed in tomato juice here. They're San Marzano variety. I don't know how many tomatoes can come out of San Marzano, but as long as it's in a 100-mile radius of that area, I don't mind. But they do cost a lot of money. And my recommendation is to get a can at least of this size, or maybe 2 cans, and just make some of your own. It's better the next day. It somehow or other it settles itself. I don't like red sauce made that day personally. It just hasn't come together, settled, cooled off, and then it's something that it's best when it's reheated. But there's a million and one ways to go as far as seasoning this sort of thing. Some people like onions in it. To me, onions are a sweetener. And to me, you need onions if you don't have great tomatoes. I don't. We have very good tomatoes here, so I choose not to use onions. We're just going to accent it with some basil leaf, some oregano. I think oregano is a great kick
Oregano's
as long as
good.
you don't overdo it. Some salt and some pepper and some garlic and some olive oil.
Okay.
People tend to use, to underdo the oil. You can always skim the oil off. It comes to the top, and so we'll give it a twirl here. All right, we've got our little tomatoes, and once again, they're imported Italian tomatoes. They have Italian names on these things. I don't want to hear about Argentina. I don't want to hear about anything. Get these tomatoes, or else you're going to come in and tell me that you tried this and it didn't work out. We do have some olive oil here, and the way I'm going to do this, it's going to take 2 pans to do. I'm going to infuse the garlic. I don't have it. We usually make a lot more marinara sauce at one time than this, so I don't have an exact recipe, but you can get the gist of it anyway. But we're adding some really nice olive oil to this. I think that's enough. That'll cover this pot in one can, yeah. But I overdo the oil. I can always skim it off a little bit, okay?
Okay. And that winds up rising to the top, you said, Dan? So
Pardon me?
does that rise to the top of the...
Right.
Okay.
A lot of people are afraid. A lot of it has to do with the consistency also. All right, we're going to turn this onto a medium. There we go. A medium type of flame. I don't want to burn it. I could put this in now, but I'll wait. You see a lot of this stuff bought in certain sauces we make with this garlic. We puree whole garlic. Okay. And you can use whole cloves also, crush them down a little bit. You can make it all in one pan if you didn't mind, you know, eating the garlic and stuff like that. It's just all according to what your personal preference is. But I like to make a nice clean sauce that somehow or other has no garlic in it, but a lot of garlic flavor. And the way we're going to do that is by putting the we're going to have garlic flavored oil into our pot here.
Okay.
All right.
So the garlic really at this point that'll just dissipate.
No, it's we're going to brown it up and strain it out.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's what we're going to do.
Okay.
And many of our dishes we do it kind of a very light brown. I don't burn the garlic here, but I do bring it to that point because I'm really looking for it to drive these tomatoes. Okay.
Okay.
Like I said, there's 90 ways of skinning a cat, but if you want to get a sauce where, you know, you're proud to take it out, you got to get the Italian tomatoes. You can't go, this oil is very important. It's very flavorful oil. It's expensive, but by the time you're done with it, it'll probably cost you a little more than the jarred sauce, but at least you're getting a restaurant quality product coming out of your freezer. I guess we could start something else while we were waiting for this to get to temperature. All right, I'll just get some garlic in the pan here. You can hear it a little bit. I'm just guesstimating this. Like I said, you can buy the jarred garlic, or you can get your own. It doesn't have to be pureed like this. I'm going to strain it out. I just happen to have some of this here. It's garlic. All right, I'm going to stir this around, and I'm going to impart the flavor of the garlic to the oil.
Now, does it matter what type of? Well, I mean, does it have to be first cold pressed? Does it really matter?
No, not at all.
Okay.
You don't need this higher grade. This is a very high grade olive oil. You can get away with you know, a blend, but it imparts a really nice flavor. The better the oil. Gonna squish all this up here, and again, if you're going to try this at home, go high on the oil, high on the garlic. I don't think you're going to get the oil you can take out, and I don't think you're going to really have to put a ton of garlic in there to go, oh my God, this is garlicky. Add a little more nip in there. So we'll get that going a little. And, you know, there aren't, as far as the ingredients you put in, you know, I can't see putting rosemary into this. I can't see putting, you know, different herbs like that. A lot of it has to do with the basic garlic, oil, tomatoes. And like I said, basil is a wonderful combination. We're going to put a little basil into the mix here, and I had some dried oregano. I didn't have any fresh oregano, so we're going to try some dried oregano, although fresh is very good too.
Well, I think as you said, Dan, you don't want to put really too much into it because you really want to taste the sweetness and the liveliness of the tomato.
Right, that's the whole deal.
That's the point of it.
Right, that's the main thing. Everything else is an accent. You can't get carried away with the other stuff. Gonna need some white pepper. There's some salt. I think I've got some hiding over here somewhere. There we are.
I'll tell you, when I was in Italy, of course, this goes back too far long ago. Need to go again. Everything there was just so much sweeter. I mean, the fruits were huge. I mean, the juice was just dripping.
A lot of that's, yeah, they have to
incredible,
pick it
wasn't it?
here, ship it over. They have to allow for everything. Those guys are probably going out into out to the garden out there and just ripping it off the tree, right? The climate's wonderful,
yeah,
right?
It is. It's great.
They know how to keep things at room temperature, too. I think a lot of people are very afraid around here to bacteria. It's the bacteria thing. Really. It's like we were talking about on a couple of our shows where we, if you pre-cook something, don't refrigerate the doggone thing. Don't cook it off at 2 in the afternoon, so you have to refrigerate it. Cook it off an hour before you're going to eat. Clean the little plate up and leave the stuff out on the counter. The difference in the flavor, unless you're bringing it right off, it's incredible. I was going to do a shrimp dish, a little shrimp. Maybe we can get that going. I was going to do a shrimp scampi. I've made it once or twice on the show, and we've had a request or two for it. So I'm going to I have some breadcrumbs here. We make our own breadcrumbs, get some stale bread, grind it up, and we season it. I got some pretty good sized shrimp here, so if you notice, I didn't put it into an egg batter or anything.
Right.
I'm trying to keep my eye on this garlic. I'm so afraid I'm going to scorch it. But we're not breading it per se. You know, there's just some shrimp here, and we're just dusting it. This is an unusual delivery. Most people don't, this is not what you're usually going to see at your lobster company or whatever, fish house. You know, we're going to saute this. This is usually done in a broiler at many places. Thank you.
Thank you. Covered on the garlic and oil.
So, you know, while I'm dunking this all into this breadcrumb, you can see when I'm shaking it off, there's really just a little crispette on the outside. That's what we're going to do is crisp it all. It's not breaded per se. All right, that's happening there. I guess we'll get started. I'll just keep my eye on it. I'm going to use a little cast iron pan for this. I'm not going to go too far here. So I got a strainer here. You can see this garlic is starting to brown, and this is, you know, you can't say, well, let me go check out Oprah for a couple more minutes while I leave the garlic. You can't leave this alone.
Well, we just poured the garlic. Actually, we just drained the garlic. I can't believe how brown that got.
Right, that is.
So quickly.
This is very close, very close. You can't get too much closer than that. Boy, it's stuck together, too.
Sure
it's like
did.
yummy, forget it.
Wow.
But, you know, this is the way I choose to do it. I could have left the garlic in, but I don't do it that way. And you can smell I mean, there's a lot of garlic in the area, but this oil is smelling like it has the little fragrance of the garlic.
Yes.
We do have a lot of oil in the bottom of this pan here. And like I said, we can skim it off. All right, I'm going to turn this up full heat.
Okay.
Let it get a little hot, and then I'm going to pour the tomatoes in. Garnish it. And then what we do after that is very, very important. And I don't think a lot of people, you got to get this stuff to a rapid boil, and then get that old grandma's porridge that was on all day, that mentality.
There you go.
There's a big difference between simmering and it has to do with the sauce rolling. You want to get it where it's just settling.
Okay.
And I feel like you have to get it to a pretty high temperature to
And
do
now
that.
the tomatoes and the tomato sauce, it all goes in there? Or do
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to put the tomatoes right in on top of here.
Wow.
Okay, hopefully this will fit in. There we go.
And these tomatoes now are so soft and tender, you don't
Right.
need to put them in a blender or anything like that
Right.
first.
So you know, so far now, see those tomatoes there? Don't they look lumpy and chunky and everything else? When this sauce is done, they're going to end up coming out very similar to what you see over here. We've cooked this down a little bit, and they've all broken down.
Oh,
see,
I
it's,
see. Oh,
it's chunky, but not
great.
ultra chunky.
Yeah.
And if you do it properly, you don't need any tomato. There's no paste going in here, and there's no puree. These are just tomatoes and tomato
you're
juice.
right.
You know.
There's no puree. And it comes that thick.
Right.
That's great.
This comes with a few basil leaves in it. This particular brand. Some do, some don't. I'm going to add a few more basils. Notice we added it after the. I want to be careful here. I don't want to over-sweeten this. Everybody's got their own little spot. Got some dried oregano here. I'm going to pinch a little bit of that in.
Okay.
That looks like enough. I'm just eyeballing. And some salt and some pepper. I'm going to put some white pepper in because I like it when it's coming out red. I like that red sauce there that when I'm bringing it out, I like to add a little parsley, fresh parsley at the end. It's got that little green herby look to it. So we're just going to coat the top of this with some salt.
And now I notice we're not putting any sugar in there. I know some people do that. We don't,
Right, but
we don't
that's
need-
when you
we
get
don't
those
need that.
B-grade tomatoes.
That's why.
Everybody, you know, it's
Okay.
just, I'm going to say the wrong thing here. Mom, don't yell at me. Mom's age group, you know, everybody, we got to watch all our pennies. Bad things happened back there in the early 30s. But we must
Well,
forget
those
about
are-
it and go on. So I got some white pepper there. It'll show up nicely. We got the basil,
Okay.
our whole tomatoes, the olive oil, and the garlic flavoring in there. We're going to stir this whole mess up here a little bit. Now, this is very important that you bring this to a very, very rapid boil. Bring it high temperature. Get it as hot as you can. And from there, we'll show you what we're going to do with it. But meanwhile, I guess we're going to make a little shrimp scampi while that's happening.
Okay.
Where should I put this? I guess I could leave it there. Move it over one, right?
Move it over one. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Get it away from the scampi. Oh, I guess we can get the camera in every now and then to check it, right? Come on, baby. But I need a little oil. I'm not using that super high grade oil this time, only because I'm going to finish this dish with some butter. I'll try not to put too much oil in here. Just enough to get the job done, but you have to watch it. This breading could burn. This isn't your typical try at home dishes. In fact, this is fellows that help me out and cook a little bit with me. If they can perform this dish under the gun, they can do most anything.
Wow.
It's very, very difficult. And like I said, we've gotten criticized in the past for this. More times than not, we've gone over this before, even on the show, that you know, people are used to something you'd have in a lot of oil in a broiler and wine and garlic, and you take it and you put it over rice and linguine. We just don't. It's just a different animal.
And well, just to have these stand up the way that they are,
Right.
that's a feat in and of itself, I think.
Now I'm on the short side with the oil here. I'll probably have to touch in there. You can see this is starting to happen a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really, you got to spend the cash though on the oil. Spend the cash on the tomatoes. And you know, if you use about a third of this, take 2/3 of it and put it in little plastic containers, chuck it in the freezer, and you know, you can do it. You can do it. This is not. This is hard to do. This isn't that hard, especially if you listen to your old Uncle Dan.
The different thing with this is that you put it at a rapid high boil.
Right.
Which most of us would think, you know, put it on simmer for, like you said,
Right.
so many hours.
No, we want to torch this thing. I want this
Okay.
thing rolling and going nuts here, and then we're going to set it way down. It'll
Okay.
roll for a little bit, then it's going to settle itself. Hopefully we'll have enough time on camera to let that happen, but I think we will. It's happening pretty quickly.
I can hear a little bit of sizzling coming off of those
Little sizzlerini.
bees.
Yeah, and again,
Yeah.
this isn't breaded per se. There is breading on it, but it's dusted. A little crispet is what we're trying to achieve here. Should I snitch a little more of this Earl in here or what? Yeah, I am psyched. Got to play 8 rounds in 4 days. 36 holes a day. Yep.
That's it, just 4 days. Wow.
I'm going to probably need a vacation when I get back.
Yeah, you are. Or another show.
Yes, right.
I'm only kidding, Dan, only kidding.
You know, I just don't see what, like I said, the onion thing, the sugar thing, the puree thing, the paste thing. They're, I think, some of the things that somebody didn't do with this style. They were the 4 common denominator types. They may not put some oregano in. We did. More than likely, you'd have the California tomatoes in there. To me, all this stuff just is a recipe for something I don't think is so good. So you can see where this is crisping up that breading on the outside. You see that golden brown there? Whoops, that one's a little close. You don't want to burn. Once again, we turned it over. The noise level got even louder.
Yes, it sure did.
Okay, and that's about it there.
Fabulous
I
color.
don't have something to put this in. I guess I'll just put it in this little pan here for now. Now I have some of that garlic over here. I'll add a little bit of that to the pan. Just going to put a little spritz in there. You might as well keep it on the high side. Everybody knows it to be a garlic-based dish. You don't want to ruin it. Just happen to have a little Chardonnay here.
Ooh.
You know, notice we got the pan, that noise level that loud, and that's a lot of wine. Don't put that much wine in. I don't know what I'm thinking about there. But you see the way we didn't burn anything. We got that pan that hot. Today starts base.
There you go. Yes, Dan.
I'm officially on vacation. All right, and I have a little fish stock here to add to this. It's more of a neutral because we're going to create a sauce. We're going to reduce this. Okay, we got some salt and some pepper.
Okay.
Once again, I got the sissy pepper. I used to hear one guy doing that. They use the sissy pepper.
You really have somebody say that?
Yeah, I had one guy. He was a pretty good chef, actually, but that was his thing.
That was
Black
his thing.
pepper was man's pepper.
Oh, I see.
This stuff was little wussy stuff.
Okay.
Why, I don't know, but who knows. Add a little fresh parsley to that. Get that butter moving around a little bit. Stuff's starting to happen here, huh? It's getting very loud.
It's getting loud.
But see, I stirred this.
It's starting to break down a little bit.
I stirred it, and it stopped boiling. So that means it's not to where we, not to the temperature we wanted.
Okay.
Let's see, we'll finish this scampi up a little bit. Sauce will reduce a little bit as it cools, so I'm going to bring it off a little more brothy. And there we have it.
Oh, that looks fabulous.
That's a good dish. Good dish.
It is.
I'm going to put one of these big pieces of barbed wire on here.
There you go.
There we go. There's a
You
nice
need a
one.
little bit of the green.
A little green, a little touch of the green, the emerald. And there we go. There's a little our style scampi shrimp. We're stirring this now, and as I'm stirring it, notice the first time I stirred it a few moments ago, it stopped boiling, but now you can see it's coming up instantly.
Right.
This is where we want to get this temperature to a true boiling point. It just seems like, you know, we've just been doing this for a long time, and it seems like the hotter we can get this, before we turn it down, the better. So the whole, the sauce is, it's happening, it's boiling, it's where we want to go with it. And we're going to go from this boiling point down to nothing.
Oh,
see that there?
Wow.
We're going down to zippity-doo-dah.
Okay, so Dan, what are we going to do with the sauce at this point?
Well, we had a minute or two,
Right.
and I don't have enough for the sole dish. Greg told me that we were running out of time
We're running
again.
out of
Too much
time,
chirping by
folks.
Dan. That one dish I do all the time on the show. I've done it a number of times. Let's try it again, okay? Because people have asked me about this. And how do you bring the red sauce to the? I'm going to put a little bit of. Notice we've skimmed some of the oil off of here. I heated this up a little while ago. It's still very, very hot.
Yes.
And I'm not attempting to bring this off at room temperature. I have some water back there, but I'm not going to bother with it. I have this pasta I cooked off. You can make it very al dente. This happens to be a linguine. And I'm not going to put it in any sort of water. Water's going to kill this dish. Also, this sauce, I allowed it to settle a little bit. It's not boiling hot. It's very hot, though. To me, boiling hot, forget it. Greg, can the camera get all the way over to here for this red sauce, for this marinara here? It's just bubbling along a little bit. The oil's coming to the top. It's just simmering. It's not rolling. I'll stir it up a little bit. You don't want to stir this continually. And it hasn't happened yet, but you want to see this stuff sort of clumping to the bottom of the pot a little bit.
Okay.
And that's what starts causing the evaporation. Grandma's porridge and all that sort of thing, you know? All right, I'm going to add some red sauce to this oil. This is what you want. Your kitchen on fire. Well, you got to watch it because this is a heartier flame than you do have at home, and you have to watch putting too much sauce in and too much pasta in. This can really kill it if you try to do too much at one time. All right, we've cooked the pasta in salt water, and the sauce is seasoned. I'm not going to do much with that. I have some terrific Parmesan. Don't use as much cheese if you're going to use a Romano.
So Romano is a little bit more potent?
Yeah, that's very sharp. It's very good. It goes well with the red sauces. It's just not my favorite. I'm going to add a little parsley now and a little parsley later.
Okay.
I can hear it a little bit. It's not noisy enough for me. I'm afraid if I stir it now, it's going to be just boiling in the sauce.
Oh, I see.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to try to make this stick to the bottom a little bit.
Okay.
See how that is just bubbling a little bit, this red sauce, just bubbling. You want to have it sit, let it reduce. And you won't have to do it all day if you got the right tomatoes. If you get some of the ones from, I'm probably gonna, from the California vegetable growers, they're going to probably call me, but some of their product, you're going to have to cook it down for a long period of time. All right,
Oh, now you've got it.
right. You hear the noise level going all up
Oh, sure.
as I'm whipping this around a little bit. You get a nice platter out. See that sauce is sticking there a little bit. You don't need a ton of sauce on the top now. And I'll just mimic putting this stuff on a plate. Maybe you put it in a platter. Whoops. Then you add some of that red sauce to the top. You always put some cheese out in case your guests want a little more. Get the steaks off the grill, you know. Let's get it going here.
Hi, folks. Thanks for joining Dan and myself at the table, which is what we do all the time when we wrap up what we've done in the kitchen. Doesn't look like we did as much as we did in the kitchen, though, does it?
A lot of chirping.
A lot of talking, not a lot of cooking.
Marinara's still on back there.
Yeah, so we're waiting
We do
for
have
that.
our shrimp scampi, though, right?
Right.
See that sauce has come into itself just a little bit. Seeing as it's down to about 50 degrees now. But yeah, it's a good little dish, and we were hopefully helpful with people that are possibly going to attempt to make their own marinara sauce at home. You know, I hope
Right.
that helped the folks out a little bit.
Oh, it helped me out a lot. But I'm not going to go and right away and start doing any cooking because I'm going to be eating
Greg was
what
writing
you
it down
made.
as I said it. I think you're going to be making that tonight.
Okay, folks. Thanks again for joining us on Cooking with Dan Lizzie. We'll see you again next week.